welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of June 20th. I'm Catherine and I'm here with Terri Morrow.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes, worrying about something or other. Wednesday is complaint day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we're revisiting a past discussion about work-life balance. That old chestnut.
Let's hear that now, and then we will check in on what the Work-Life Seesaw is looking like today.
Today, we are looking at that work-life balance situation and how it evolves as kids get older. And a spoiler alert, it doesn't necessarily evolve for the better. Or at least I'm learning. Just a little backstory on this topic today. I have 2 young adults at home who came home during the height of the pandemic, although I think we're experiencing that again here in California. And so while they were both, one was away at school and the other one was working at home and living here anyway. But so, you know what it's like. So I worked out of the house for a lot of their childhood. Like I worked in another setting for a lot of their childhood. And that was brutal because I commuted, over an hour each way to work. And then I had 10-hour days. And so that was a lot of stress. And then, of course, being a teacher, it's not a 9-to-3 job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I would bring a lot of my work home with me and I'd be marking late at night. So it was just I was on a treadmill, right? Like it was just constant. And so I always thought, well, as my kids get older, it's going to be so much easier. They can get themselves places. They can be responsible. They can take care of things. So, as it so happened, my work situation changed and then I started working from home. But I found obviously that I was still needed to drive them around until they got their licenses and such. But, I was still needed. And then I thought, okay, well, things are going to get a little bit easier once they go to university. And so my one child, she just finished her first year university and has come back home. So I'm thinking, yay, this is great because they're fine. They're totally independent. She's lived away from home for a year. She knows, she's responsible. She knows what she has to get done. My son, he's obviously fine. But I'm finding just the opposite. So I kind of relaxed on a lot of things. And now life is falling apart. Because my son, of course, is getting ready to move and leave. And so he's requiring all sorts of support and attention. My daughter is, in that whole online school, the whole kind of looking for a summer job. Wanting to be with friends but can't. So she's in this whole kind of interesting dynamic situation. And so just when I thought that I could sit at my desk, shut the door, sit at my desk and focus on my job, I am trying to really, I'm struggling to, I really have to pay more attention to what's going on in my house is basically what I'm saying. I was hoping to pay more attention to my work now, but no, it's not the case. I'm still having to balance it out with time with my kids which is great. I'm not saying that it's not, but I thought I could just relax a little bit. But as I'm finding, when you're a parent, you never get to relax, no matter what age they're at. So.
Yeah, well, especially when you have sort of open-ended projects that have no actual deadline, but you should be working on them. a distraction you can't blame yourself for is often kind of welcome. Well, I would have gotten that writing done today, but darn, my kids needed me. And that's the kind of mom I am. Doesn't work for you? It works for me sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's a struggle. And I mean, and that's not even to, that's just my kids. Never mind exercising and eating well and making sure that everything else is going smoothly. Because I find that if I'm focusing on my kids and everything else gets pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How are you finding it, Catherine?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different as they get older. I mean, I remember thinking, because mine used to be in childcare, like even though I've been working from home for, I don't know, 16 years, before they were in school, they were in daycare. And I remember thinking, when they transitioned to school, I'll be like, how much money am I going to have when I don't have to pay for daycare? Well, guess what? It all just goes to like soccer and skating and, other stuff. And then, like you said, now that they're older and they're certainly more independent, but they are needy in new and different ways.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like with the digital learning, like I was working all during the time when both my kids were supposed to be doing their digital learning from home. And, one of them totally wasn't doing it. And I really had to, sit side by side with them and make sure they did it.
Right.
And I had to not be working. I couldn't do that and work at the same time. That doesn't work. So it was not easy. And that's just one weird example like that. That's let's hope not happening again. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's more, I don't know, emotional or psychological need versus physical hands-on. Like you're not bathing them, but you're making sure they take a shower every couple of days. Things like that.
Yeah. So. Like in some cases, I feel like I'm parenting just as much now as what I was when they were toddlers, because it's just constant. It's like, when you bowl and you take your kids bowling and they have those little guardrails that pop up on the side bumpers. Of the little lane. Yeah, the bumpers. I feel like I'm providing bumpers like every step of the way to help them get to their goal. So it's exhausting, and then I don't feel like I want to sit down and work. Yeah. So there's no balance. Right. I don't know. Terri, I mean, you worked as your children were younger. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when I was working outside the house, but more of that time I was working from home and had very flexible schedules. Even when I was working in an office, some of the time I was able to get off early to go pick kids up from school, and then I would finish up the work late at night. So I don't know. I feel like I balanced stuff pretty well when they were younger. I was very, very lucky in that my husband had a job that was really close to home. I mean, he was in walking distance from home, and he had a schedule where he went in very early and then he got off early. So he was around, mid-afternoon, till the end of the day. So if I needed to do something, he was there, and he's very good with the hands-on stuff. I was, the bigger picture. All right, how am I going to fight for this thing they need in special education, or which therapist are we going to choose for speech and this and all that stuff? But he would do the picking up, dropping off, making sure homework got done. He would be responsible for a lot of that stuff. So that helped a huge amount. And that's where we got into the thing of him cooking, which is great, right. Which still lasts now, even though those early circumstances no longer apply. But now, I think I'm maybe past the point where they need this sort of more intensive young adult parenting that you're having to deal with, Nicole. I should not say that because then something will happen.
I was just going to say,
I think what has happened is that we have moved past the place where they will accept it from me. So I can still sit in my room and fret about it, but, if I try to approach with it, they're sort of done with me. They're like, go work, Mom. I know you have a lot of work. That's fine. Go do your work. And I was like, okay, I'll go do my work. And I have, a ton of work at the moment. So it's very easy for me to say, you know what, that thing that I think needs me fluttering around it like a nervous butterfly, I'm put that off till tomorrow. I'm going to get these deadlines taken care of. So right now, the work-life balance has swung all the way over into work. And the life stuff I am asking other people to deal with, they are not necessarily, but I have seeded it for the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that something couldn't happen that will require my 24/7 attention and anxiety, but, I really feel like, if I notice something is going on with my son and I try to do something, he's like, go back to work. It's fine. Stop. And, my daughter will occasionally come to me with something, but then if I start to expound, as is my way, she's like, no, that's okay. So it's like they have outgrown me, I think, to some degree for the moment. I mean, after some truly rough patches through the 20s that did require a great deal of energy and supervision and, endless worrying from me. We'll see. Maybe the 30s will be... I'll need to swing back into action, but yeah, I feel like there's less and less ground for me to tread. Now, if there's still life changes ahead for them that will swing my balance back in their direction. But they are not on the near horizon.
Right.
And that's fine. Because I got a lot of work to do, so that's cool. Y'all don't have any problems, okay? Bye. Yes. I'm trying not to micromanage the fact that my son went from 3 jobs to 0. And will they come back? Should I be doing something? Should I be getting him another job? And I say that, and my husband and my son both said, stop doing that. So for the moment, I am stopping doing that. I have let them both know that there will be a time where I will no longer be able to do that. But for the moment, I got work, doing my work. The balance is on the work side. The life side's just swinging off there to the side. Boy, I sound like I'm setting myself up for a crisis, don't I?
Yeah. Don't speak too quickly.
God's going, oh, wait a minute. You need something?
Let's fix
It's fine.
that for you.
Fine. Everything's fine. It's good. We're good. So, my work-life seesaw is still completely on the work side. It doesn't get pushed down much on the other side. I recently went to the Special Olympics to watch my son compete. We spent a lovely weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I didn't do any work. Thursday, I didn't do any work because I got shots in my eyes, and so I couldn't see very well. So I had like a nice 4-day period of sweet relief and family time. And the week before that and the week after that were ridiculously work intensive. So much that I thought, maybe time off's not worth it because this is too much.
Yeah.
So apparently the seesaw only goes like, there's no balance.
Yeah.
It's like one way.
One way or the other. Yeah.
But facilitating work has been the fact that my husband has been home for the summer. So that's very nice. He does all the transporting of young people wherever they need to go.
Right.
And so I can and he makes my lunch and he makes my breakfast and he does everything for me. So that's very nice. That's very helpful. And I've also, possibly since we recorded this, the original, my daughter has started driving her brother to work. Because my son is working very close to home, and his hours, oftentimes, she can take him before she goes to work. And that has been super nice.
Yeah.
Just to not always be the one who's driving people places. So we recently, as I mentioned briefly in yesterday's episode, we recently lost the car that my daughter drives. And so my husband has been driving ridiculously everybody. I had an eye appointment like half an hour away, so he had to drive me to the eye appointment, drop me off, go back home, take my son to work, go back, drive another half hour back to pick me up. So I'll be glad when we have a car again that my daughter can drive. But,
Right.
Other people in the family picking up the slack so that mom can just chain herself to her desk and, work till her eyeballs fall out. Yay!
Great.
That's family time, right? They're having
Yeah.
We're working together as a family to make sure
Yeah.
mom doesn't have to leave her desk.
Yeah.
How's it been for you?
Yeah, I would say it's been pretty similar to what I talked about in this older episode. I think I mentioned there, the way that when kids are older, it's a lot of sort of emotional labor, as they say, that you're not physically feeding the kid, but you are like making sure that they ate today or that they took their medicine or, and in the case of one of I'm still driving that one around. I do try to put that onto my husband whenever I can, but yeah. And I had the same situation as you where I was away. I took a week off, a whole week.
That's cold.
And I'm not making up everything I missed. But I did promise to do extra hours the week before and the week after. And man, that is hard.
Yeah, the last time I took a week off, I just told all the people I work for, I'm taking a week off. I'm not bringing my computer with me. And they redistributed my work.
Right.
And that was fine. But if it's just a weekend, you feel like,
Right.
I can do a little extra before. I can do a little extra. It'll be fine. And then I lost another day to the eye shot.
Right.
And then it was a problem. And I also had a couple of pieces of work that were difficult. So I'm exhausted. I'm just gonna go take a nap.
Yeah. I mean, I still remain like shocked at how hard it is for me to do the number of hours I have committed to, which is like, I'm not even going to tell you how many it is because I know you do like double that. But how do I not, like, where does the time go? How do I not get it done? I mean, part of it I know is like, if you're billing hourly, I feel very compulsive about, only billing for when I'm really working.
Yeah.
But that means, if I need to take my kid somewhere, that's at least a half an hour, that I'm not billing for. So, that's challenging. So, and it's just little things like if I were in an office, then I wouldn't be available to, stop and drive the person somewhere or do whatever else I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
At home, it's just you feel like you should do stuff, or it's easy to be distracted. And your kid comes in to talk to you, and you don't want to say, "Excuse me, this work is more important than you. Please go away."
Yeah,
but at the same time,
you're like subtracting the minutes in your head. Like, well,
I have been trying these days when I've had too much work. I put together a Google Calendar, and I have like 3 or 4 different clients that I'm working for. So I alternate them by hour. So I do an hour for this, I do an hour for this, and I plan out the whole day, to end like at, say, 7 o'clock. And then every time I miss a little time for one thing or another, I move things on the calendar. And finally, by like 5 o'clock, I'm scheduled through 3 a.m. So it's like, this is not working.
Yeah.
But I do it, and I am real tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's similar because I write on my calendar, okay, on this day I'm doing this many hours.
Yes.
And then suddenly it's like 6 p.m. and I still have 4 more hours to go. Wait, how did that, what?
Yeah. Oh, dear. The joys of freelancing.
Yes, good times.
Although I know that when I worked in an office, I brought work home, so.
Oh, yeah. Or stayed late or whatever before you had kids, I guess.
Even after. That's why my husband cooks dinner, because he got a habit of it when I would stay late and then come home and work. So, enough upside to being a workaholic. But I enjoy, the thing I tell them is I enjoy the work. I mean, I know it looks like I'm being ridiculous. I'm doing this horrible thing all the time, but I enjoy doing it. So stop doing this thing that I enjoy doing that pays so I can do something that I enjoy doing that doesn't.
Right.
I'll take the pay.
Well, we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yes.
So let's say for now that's it for round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll obsess about working in a different way, retirement.